Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. On behalf of the Newsfirst, the voice of the people, I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon.
Heavy rainfall batters most parts of the island. 2 dead due to extreme weather. Water levels of Kalu, Kalani, Ging and Nilwala rivers on the rise. Landslide warnings issued to multiple areas in 6 districts. Island-wide travel restrictions currently in effect. Special operations underway to locate rule breakers. Is Brazil's president guilty of criminal negligence over vaccine disaster? Islam devotees the world over celebrates Ramadan today.
To start off the bulletin today, we now cross over to Jamal Ratnayaka, who is standing by at the newsroom to provide the latest update in the weather situation across the country.
Yes, Martin, thank you very much and a very good afternoon to all our viewers. I am here at the Newsfirst Weather Centre to apprise you of the current situation pertaining to the inclement weather that Sri Lanka has been experiencing over the past few hours, starting from last evening. Now, the Department of Irrigation says water levels of the Kalu, Kalani, Ging, Nilwala rivers and the Attanagalu and Ma Oyas are currently on the rise following heavy rainfall. The Director of the Department of Irrigation, Engineer STC Sugeshwara, warned residents living in areas surrounding the aforementioned bodies of water to remain vigilant at all times because the water levels are still on the rise. Now, landslide warnings have also been issued to multiple areas in the Galle, Matara, Ratnapura, Kegalle, Colombo and Kalutara districts. The Department of Meteorology has forecast rains exceeding 100 millimeters for the western, Sabaragamuwa, northwestern and southern provinces. So residents in these few provinces will have to remain vigilant for torrential rainfall that is upcoming or has been forecast by the Department of Meteorology. Moving on to more weather-related incidents reported from across the island over the past few hours. 2 lives have already been lost following extreme weather prevalent in the island at present. 4 people have also sustained injuries as a result of earth slips in multiple areas of the island, and several low-lying areas in the island are currently inundated, while incidents of earth slips have also been reported. We have a comprehensive report on that matter. Let's take a look.
Mounds of earth have collapsed in Gasnaver, Kegalle following torrential rainfall. Our correspondent noted numerous houses have also been damaged as a result, while a 55-year-old male had died when a mound of earth collapsed onto his house. A woman who suffered injuries in the same incident has been hospitalized. One person lost his life last night in a flash flood which occurred in Nakyadenia in Galle. His body was discovered this morning. 3 people who were injured when a mound of earth collapsed in Ginigathena in Hatton are currently receiving treatment at the Ginigathena Divisional Hospital. A mound of earth has collapsed onto the road in Yangal Modara, limiting vehicular movement to 1 lane of the road. The railway track in the area has also been blocked. The Paradu area along the Akurasa-Matara main road has been inundated following heavy rains. Our correspondent noted water level of the Ma Oya is on the rise. The measure of the Baddegama water gauge has risen to 4.40 meters owing to heavy rain experienced over catchment areas of the Ging River. The road from Baddegama to Udugama, Baddegama to Agalia and low-lying areas surrounding the Ging River are also inundated. Several areas of the Angruvela city along the Abissavela Kegalle main road were also inundated. Multiple areas in Morapitiya Badrulia were also flooded due to heavy rains experienced last night. Colombo experienced torrential rainfall accompanied by heavy gusts of wind last night. Many trees were uprooted as a result. The water level of the Kalani River too has risen, inundating houses in the vicinity.
As you can see, torrential rainfall has wreaked havoc across many parts of the island, causing landslide warnings to be issued and also mounds of earth to collapse onto several parts of the island. Against such a backdrop, we are hearing reports from Hiniduma, where it has been inundated and a severe deluge is being reported. As you can see on screen right now, the Hiniduma area has been inundated with 8 to 15 feet of water that is currently witnessed or being witnessed in the area. Area residents are severely inconvenienced, and authorities said that this area is a massive area including the Thavalama, Hingalgoda, Hiniduma Udagama and Mapalagama areas that are currently inundated in this fashion. Authorities also noted to Newsfirst that they are taking necessary precautions to evacuate residents of the area because the floodwaters are continuing to rise. Now these are surrounding areas of the Ging River, and as a result of the Ging River reaching spill level and water levels of the Ging River rising, this area surrounding the Hiniduma area mainly is currently inundated with water levels reaching 15 feet at some places. Taking a look at more news regarding the weather situation in Sri Lanka, sluice gates at many reservoirs in the country have also been opened owing to inclement weather.
Assistant Director at the Centre for Disaster Management, Pradeep Kodipili, said the sluice gates of Norton, Canyon, Kukuleganga and Udaval were opened due to the rising water levels. Meanwhile, due to the prevailing weather conditions, water levels at the Daduroy Reservoir is nearing spill level. The irrigation engineer at the Daduroy Reservoir, Sampath Samarajiva, said as a result, 4 sluice gates at the reservoir have been opened up by 3 feet since this morning. The irrigation engineer further noted the low-lying areas of the Daduroy Reservoir are not facing the risk of floods at the moment.
Muslim devotees across the island celebrate the festival of Ramadan today. The celebrations of Ramadan focus on devotion and brotherhood.
The Ramadan festival begins after the new moon is sighted following the fast conducted during the month of Ramadan. The annual observance is regarded as one of the 5 pillars in Islam. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa extended his heartiest greetings to all Muslims in Sri Lanka who celebrate the Ramadan festival. In his message, he said the reconciliation revealed by us to the world through building peace and brotherhood among the communities is an excellent example to the entire Muslim world, and without doubt, the appeal to save humankind from this lethal COVID-19 pandemic would be among the wishes of our Islam devotees. Further, the President says this month of Ramadan is a time to reflect the commitment and dedications made by the world to create a healthy lifestyle free of the prevailing pandemic. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa also conveyed his greetings to all Muslims who celebrate the festival of Ramadan. He called on the Islamic community of Sri Lanka to follow the religious values highlighted through the celebration of Ramadan, especially during these trying times. He further stated that during the course of history, many Islamic devotees who lived their lives according to the preachings of Islam have lived in harmony, respecting the multi-religious social fabric which makes Sri Lanka. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, in his message to the devotees who celebrate Ramadan, has praised the Islamic devotees who pray to save humankind from this lethal COVID-19 pandemic.
Shifting your attention to the COVID-19 situation in the country, the vaccination drive in Sri Lanka will continue today in several parts of the Western province.
An inoculation program was carried out at the St. Sebastian College in Katuapitiya this morning.
The Sinopharm vaccine will be administered to people of 4 Grama Nilධාරී divisions with the most number of COVID-19 patients which are recorded. They are Katuapitiya, Sellakanda, Mahahunupitiya, East and West.
Mahahunupitiya Naganahira ha Mahahunupitiya Batahira.
Journalists were inoculated at the Sri Jayawardhanapura Hospital. Meanwhile, inoculation programs were conducted at several places, including Colombo.
Delayed vaccines, oxygen shortages and ineffective COVID treatments. These are but a few charges that Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro is being investigated for, as his government is responsible for one of the worst coronavirus outbreaks in the world.
There are investigations as to what happened in Brazil. They are looking into whether the president and the government of Brazil are responsible for the COVID-19 situation in their country. They are looking at moving an impeachment against President Bolsonaro. At the start, when there were discussions about closing down the countries, President Bolsonaro laughed. He then believed in myths instead of science and started prompting various medicines. The health minister in the country was removed. It is the same here as well. When we spoke about closing down the country, they laughed. Similar to Brazil, attention was drawn towards myths instead of science as well. They dropped pots and drank tonics. There are 4 health ministers here as well, all similar to the situation in Brazil. We have only administered both doses of the vaccine to about 1% of the population. If the correct steps were taken at the correct time, we wouldn't have been in this state. All the professionals in the country have highlighted that the management of the COVID-19 situation has failed. On one hand, the lives of the people are under threat due to the shortage of vaccines. On the other hand, the national economy has collapsed. Poverty has increased. Against such a backdrop, a leader who is supposed to alleviate poverty and uplift the lives of the people has departed the country. The horse has bolted and the stable is wide open. We request the government to uplift the economic status of the people. Do not stop the debt moratorium given to small and medium-scale businesses. Extend vehicle leasing payments. Stop the culture of threatening people and jacking their vehicles. Address the hunger of the people. The opposition is prepared to allocate funds for that matter at any time. We are ready to bolster the financial ability through parliament. Do not lay dormant. Address the socio-economic issues of the people. We await the government's decision over the next few days.
Still on COVID-19 news related at home, travel restrictions came into effect across the island from 11 p.m. yesterday and will be imposed until 4 a.m. on Monday the 17th of May. Police continued their special operations to curb the violators.
Except for pharmacies, all shops in Baddegama town were closed today. A situation awareness campaign was also carried out using loudspeakers in the area. A deserted main bus stand was captured on camera in Matra town, while the shops were also closed since this morning. Polhena Beach, a tourist attraction, was also deserted. Police carried out an inspection in the Thalawathugoda area to identify the violators of travel restrictions that are in place. Senior DIG of the Western Province, Deshabandhu Tennakon, also took part in the operation.
No one will be able to travel except those who have been allowed by the health sector. All shops have been closed. Only pharmacies can remain open. No other travel is allowed. Accordingly, we will take all necessary measures to strictly enforce the law against those who do so. Supermarkets and Satosa branches or their establishments are allowed to operate their delivery service if someone orders online. Cooked food businesses are also allowed to deliver food if someone orders it. Quarantine operations are being carried out today as well. 435 people have been arrested during the last 24 hours. We have arrested a total of 8,209. In particular, the health criteria issued by the Director General of Health Services will be effective from today until the 31st of May. No commemorative meetings will be held during that period. Passengers can be carried only on the number of seats on public transportation, while private vehicles, including three-wheelers, can carry only 2 passengers apart from the driver. In addition, shopping malls, financial institutions, weekly fairs, economic centers and supermarkets can retain only 25% of the required number. Around 63 people have been arrested during yesterday's operations in the Western Province, while 3,269 people were warned. 63 people have been arrested thereafter.
24 COVID-19 related deaths have been reported in the past 24 hours in the country, increasing the death toll in the country to 892. The deceased were residents of Dambulla, Gampula, Burella, Ragama, Vennaruwa, Gaul, Ambalanguda, Ahangama, Mahagama, Kugwatta, Mount Lavinia, Hindagala, Kalagadihena, Vellampitiya, Gonapula, Rikilagaskada, Jayantipura, Polgolla, Pondaloya, Nanoya and Madapatha. Meanwhile, 2,249 COVID-19 cases were detected yesterday. Accordingly, the number of total cases in the country currently stands at 135,796. 108,802 people have recovered.
There
are 103 centers established across the country to provide medication. There is a capacity of 20,712 beds, and at the moment 18,529 beds have been utilized. There are 146 ICU beds in 15 units. 72 are ready and are being used. During the past 24 hours, 24,648 PCR tests were carried out. The Covishield vaccine has been provided to 925,242 people up to now. 241,522 people have received the second dose. 214,880 doses of the Sinopharm vaccine have been administered as of yesterday. 14,673 doses of the Sputnik vaccine have been administered. When the country was placed under lockdown in the past, they provided the 5,000 rupee allowance. Now they have not provided anything to the people. The people have no way to live. The government does not have any standard. They do not have the strength to take the right decisions. The hostilities in the Gaza Strip has escalated despite intense mediation efforts by Egyptian negotiators who held in-person talks with both the sides. Israel continued to bombard the Gaza Strip with airstrikes and artillery shells, ignoring international calls for calm as it stepped up the deployment of troops and tanks near the besieged Palestinian enclave.
Al Jazeera reported that as of 12:10 a.m. Israeli time today, Israeli troops were massing at the border, but contrary to several news reports, there is no ground offensive taking place. In a statement, the Israeli army also denied that the ground offensive has started. Reports have also come in that the bodies of a woman and her 3 sons who were killed in an Israeli airstrike have been received in the northern part of Gaza. The latest fatalities bring the total death toll to 113, including at least 31 children. Palestinians marked the first day of the Eid al-Fitr religious holiday yesterday under relentless aerial bombardment. More than 580 others have been wounded. At least 6 Israelis and 1 Indian national have also been killed. The Israeli army said hundreds of rockets have been fired from Gaza towards various locations in Israel as they have added reinforcements near the enclave's eastern lands. There have also been more violent confrontations between Jewish Israelis and Palestinians of Israel in several cities inside Israel. In another potential escalation, at least 3 rockets were fired from southern Lebanon towards Israel.
The National Park. For the Newsfirst, the voice of the people, I'm Martin Satyanesan. You take care and stay safe.